vocabulary, right? Let's have a look, let's dig in or dive in and speak English about hospital vocabulary. I'm going to start with places in the hospital, right? So clearly, hospital is the first one, but notice the pronunciation, right? Hospital. But the accent is on the hospital. And the tull is a dark L, tull. Can you see the tongue? Tull. And the tongue touches the teeth. Hospital. And try and put the a at the beginning. A hospital. A hospital. Perfect. A hospital. I work in a hospital. Easy. Many of you do. Now, we can say to go to hospital. In the UK, we say I'm going to hospital means that I'm a patient. If you say I'm going to the hospital, it means you're visiting or you work there. Okay, this is in the UK, only in the UK. So when if somebody I know says, oh, I'm going to hospital, I'm a bit nervous because it means they're a patient. I'm going to hospital. If somebody says, I'm going to the hospital, I relax because they're just visiting somebody. You see the difference? This is a difference only in the United Kingdom. We have this difference. In America, they use this one for both patient and visitor or worker. For all of them, you can say to go to the hospital. So if you're not sure, you can use this for all of them. But you can just see there in the UK, there is a difference, right? Places in the hospital, we've got the A&E ward, which is the accident and emergency ward. So if you have an accident, you go straight to the emergency ward, the A&E, A&E. Instead of saying A and E, we say A and E, A and E, knee, like knee, your knee, A&E, A&E ward. Go to A&E. You should go to A&E. That's a ward. A ward in general, a general ward, is just an area in the hospital with beds for the patients. So the ward, or the general ward, will be one of the many areas for patients. So when you go to a hospital in England, you'll have Ward A, Ward B, Ward C, Ward D. So if you're visiting somebody, you'll have to ask which ward are they in. Another place in the hospital, of course, is the operating theatre. The operating theatre is where surgery takes place. That's where the doctor or the surgeon, like Mr. Bean, will do the operation, like Alexander had. He had surgery. He was in the operating theatre. It's interesting we use theatre, right? Because theatre is actually where you go to watch a play, like Shakespeare. That's theatre. But maybe because they're playing the role of a doctor, an physician, the nurse, everyone's playing a role maybe. It's like a theatre. I'm not sure, but we say the operating theatre. Interesting, right? Okay, excellent, good. Eva says she's focusing on my teeth. Why are you focusing on my teeth? That's very, very strange. Jean, welcome. Businesswoman from Uganda. Lovely to see you here. Ali is a radiology technologist. Okay, excellent. Julia says XYZ has gone to hospital. Yes, XYZ being your friend, right? Has gone to hospital as a patient. Yes. Can you tell us the difference between in hospital and at the hospital? Yes, basically. So Huda, it's a good question. In is you're inside the building. At can be both inside the building and next to the building. Okay, that's it. Simple as that. So if somebody says, I'm in the hospital, you know you must go in the door and look inside. If somebody says, I'm at the hospital, they might be just outside, next to it, or possibly inside. That's it. Great question. Good. Mukhtar says, I've been working a hospital. I've been working in a hospital. Let's say, we'll say in a hospital, right? I've been working in a hospital for 5 years. It's draining, right? It's exhausting. I can imagine it's exhausting indeed. Let me just help you here if I can. I'm going to help you, Mukhtar Ali. Just say, and also notice 5 years. I'm just going to help a little bit. It will help everybody as they see. I've been working in a hospital for 5 years and it's draining. I love the word draining. Really exhausting. That's what I hear about, yes? Okay, excellent. Ed says, maybe surgery is an art. Yeah, talking about the operating theatre. Maybe it is. Absolutely. Hytham says, is surgery a special clinic? So it can be. Surgery is the operation, but also doctors say I'm in surgery, meaning I'm doing the operation, I'm in the operating theatre. So to be in surgery could be to be in the operating theatre. Yes. Can you explain the pronunciation of theatre? Theatre. Theatre. Can I explain it? So you've got the you've got the long vowel or the diphthong ia, thea, and then t, and the schwa, t. So you've got th, diphthong, t, theatre, theatre. Yeah, what more can I explain? That's it. Excellent, good. Hazera says, I've been working in hospital since 2015. Okay, good, great. Sir, can you give me an example between A and E? So A and E is, for example, if you are knocked over by a car, you go to A and E. If your son falls from a tree and breaks his arm, you go to A and E. Any accident or emergency. Imagine you're at home and you're chopping the vegetables and you cut your finger, and there's lots of blood. Don't ring the doctor, go to A&E. Excellent, nice, good. Hikran says, I'll be working in a hospital as a volunteer within a month. Great. I wonder, are you practicing to be a nurse or a doctor, or is it just a volunteer activity, something you're interested in? So we've looked at places, right? Let's look at people in the hospital. Now, obviously, one of the main people, I guess, is the patient. Patient. Again, so you've got the diphthong pay, as in pay money, patient. It's a sh sound, shunt. Again, when you say the a, say a patient, a patient, a patient. A patient is the person receiving care, normally a sick person, right? So it's a person receiving care or treatment. But notice that patient, exactly the same pronunciation as an adjective, means having patience or not being in a rush. If you are patient, then you can wait. You're not in a rush. So you can put both together. For example, I'm not a patient. I want to get better as soon as possible. A patient, right? Because these two words have the same pronunciation but a different meaning, you can guess it's easy to make jokes about this, right? So, for example, when a friend of mine was in hospital and he was shouting at the nurse, "Can you hurry up with my medicine?" And the nurse says, "No, you're a patient." right? Meaning be patient. You're a patient. So lots of jokes you can make. Dad jokes. Now, patient, there are two kinds, right? There's the inpatient and the outpatient. Inpatient, accent on the in, an inpatient is a patient who must spend the night in the hospital. It's logical, right? That's why it's an inpatient. It doesn't mean you're going in the hospital. It means you're going to sleep in the hospital. So if you have an operation, sometimes you have to stay overnight. You will be an inpatient. If you go to the hospital and you only stay for an hour or 2 hours, maybe they do a blood test and say, you're fine, go home. You're an outpatient. So there's an inpatient ward and an outpatient ward. Out because you're going out in the same day. Okay, an inpatient, an outpatient. For example, we can say, I've been admitted as an inpatient. Okay, we talk about admitting a patient, which means to let them in or to register them. I've been admitted as an inpatient. Or the growing number of inpatients is a rising cost for the government. Of course, because we have to pay for the bed and the food and the doctor's time and everybody's time. The growing number of inpatients is a rising cost for the government. Okay, great. So Roman says, I was admitted to the hospital as a patient last year. Very good English, right? Admitted to the hospital. Great. So you were registered there. I assume you're okay now. I hope so. Yes. Great English. Impatient also means that you're not patient. Right. Because you've got impatient, right? And it's with a M, but your right pronunciation is the same. Impatient. It's actually the same pronunciation, impatient. So you can be an impatient, right? You can be a patient, and an impatient. Does outpatient have a patient meaning? No, it doesn't. No, but it's a good question, right? It's a very good question. Okay, nice. People. Also, of course, we've got the doctor. Doctor, I mean, generally speaking, we can talk about synonyms for a doctor. A physician, quite hard, right? Physician. So it's a f and a s. Physician. And then the j. A physician. I should put the phonetics, right? So you can just get it clearer. Let me just share the phonetics to make it a little bit clearer. Physician. Wow, complicated word. Sounds like fizzy, like a fizzy drink. Physician. So it's a voiced z. Physician. That n is almost disappears. Physician. And the stress on the si or the z. Physician. Can also talk about a medical practitioner. All of these are synonyms generally for a doctor. Of course, there are many kinds of doctor, as we will see shortly. You can say to see a doctor. In some languages, I think you say like to visit a doctor. I'm going to visit the doctor. In English, you wouldn't really say visit a doctor. You say, I'm going to see a doctor, right? I need to see a doctor or the doctor. I'm going to see the doctor. I'm going to see a doctor. If you know which doctor, then it's, I'm going to see the doctor. You can say to go for a checkup. So a checkup is just a medical examination. So many times people go to see the doctor for a medical checkup, medical examination. Often we call it a routine checkup. Once a year, check your body, have a routine checkup. For example, you can say, you seem to be very sick. You should see a doctor. Or, I'd like to make an appointment for a checkup. Make an appointment for a checkup. Juliana, it sounds like saying the word decisions, physician. Yeah. It's a good way of remembering it, right? Yes. How momentous pronunciation is in IELTS examination? Well, it counts for 25%. So it is important, right? Gamer, Sir Water? Who is Sir Water? There is so much difference between British and American accents, so who should we prefer? It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. Both are fine. In fact, don't worry about having one or the other. Just speak the way you speak. Accent is not that important. Above all, in IELTS, it is not important at all. Okay? The accent. Pronunciation, yes, but your accent doesn't matter. From the doctor, let's talk about nurses. Of course, we've got a nurse. Sometimes we talk about a registered nurse. So different countries have different systems. You can be a training nurse and then a registered nurse, which means you become officially qualified. There may be different grades of nurse in your country as well. It all depends. And again, there are different types of nurses, which we will look at in a moment. And systems. So we've looked at people. We've looked at places, people, systems, the healthcare system. In England, it's called the National Health, NHS, the National Health System. But we talk about healthcare in general, and the most important is primary healthcare. I think this is the most common thing that you will hear, the primary healthcare, which basically is the first point of contact with the national health system. So that could be your community doctor, it could be the pharmacy, it could be the dentist or a dental service or eye service. GP is the community doctor, basically. In England, we call that a GP. Your GP is your local doctor, your local community doctor. They're the primary healthcare. Your secondary healthcare will then be if you need to go to see a specialist. So the care of a specialist. So you go to your doctor, primary healthcare. I don't feel very well. He says, ooh, something wrong with your heart. You must go and see the cardiologist or the heart doctor. That then will be secondary care when you go to see the cardiologist. So the local doctor, the GP, is going to be your primary healthcare, and the specialist is the second step, the secondary healthcare, right? In England, we also talk a lot about social care, and social care is often outside the hospital in people's homes, care given to people who need daily help, usually at home, like eating, washing, moving. So some people who maybe have done a surgery and they cannot move, they're in bed at home, they need social care. Maybe somebody has a disability and they need help at home, or maybe you're just very old. As you get older, you may need social care to look after you at home. Okay. In England or the UK, there's a lot of private organisations do social care, some government as well. Yes. Okay. Is physician expert in the branch such as cardiologist? So physician is the general area, right? That's any kind of doctor. And the cardiologist is a kind of physician, right? It's a specialist, a specialization, if you like. Yeah. Okay. Let me just see, where are we? I think you mean Is physician expert in the branch such as cardiologist? So yeah, so it's the other way around, right? The cardiologist is a branch of the physicians. Physicians is much more general. Okay. Sarah says neurologist, cardiologist, dermatologist. Yep, all these ologists are different kinds of doctors. There's lots of them, right? Okay, great. Excellent, good. Somebody's asking about checkup. Should it be one word? It's a very good question. Should checkup be one word? Let's double check. Well, it's interesting, right? So, yeah, okay. Over here in my Cambridge dictionary, it says checkup with a hyphen. In the US, it's done as one word, if you can see that. So in the UK, it's done with a hyphen. In the US, it's just one word, a dental checkup. Yeah, very good point. Well done. Well spotted. Nice. So where was that? Let me go back. Checkup. Thank you for that. A checkup. Excellent. Good. LKC, you're on the ball. So we've got social care and preventative care, right? Preventative care is to prevent disease. It's a big discussion in the UK, preventative care. Do we do enough? You've also, of course, got private healthcare and public healthcare. If you have money, you can buy private healthcare. If not, you go through the public healthcare system. And all of the people in the hospital, well, the doctors and the nurses, you can call a healthcare worker. So those are the jobs in the hospital that look after people, right? The healthcare worker. Okay, excellent, good. I think we're there. Lots of vocabulary, a lot of vocabulary, okay?